So let's talk music. I want to talk the new album, All the Time.
All the time.
Well, that's what the album's called. And also, I just want to talk about it all the time. That's all I want to do these days. I just want to talk about Fire Tiger's new album.
Aww.
But and let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Guest credits. Third one down. Ron Placone. So should we? Do you guys want to share the story of how that came to be? I mean, it's your guys' album, so I don't want to.
Yeah, so we went to your show and we were just stuck on we were non-inspirational, and then you inspired us with the beer and the cute little pub that we were at, and being together with you, and that inspired part of the song. And also Redfoo.
He's well, which one is he on? Is he on the same one as me?
He should be, because he also inspired us to.
Well, it says track 2 is him. So Many Fishes is him.
Yeah, we should have put him on Magical Brew too, because he was like, "You guys need a song about like a drink that inspires you and makes you feel alive." And I was like, "Magical Brew."
Yeah. So you guys came to me with the melody. And we were like, let's work on some lyrics. And the thing I came up with was just too absurd. You guys were like, Ron, that's very funny, but it's just too absurd for what
we're
we
gonna
do.
Use those lyrics for another song in our we'll work on it together for album 4.
All right, deal.
We didn't want to he wanted to do Magic Mushroom, but I was like, you know what? We need to keep it, like I've never even tried shrooms. That'd be lying to myself. Talking about magical mushrooms, like.
So I feel like that's got to go on your to-do list before the pandemic's over. I mean, now's the perfect time.
Yeah. I want to talk to trees. I do. I feel like they're calling my name. And I want to know what they're saying behind my back. And
one time when I was on shrooms, I didn't get to talk to the tree, but I thought it was growing. I thought it was growing in real time. I was like, that tree's getting taller. And the grass was also growing in real time for me. I was just standing in the grass and it was just growing over my feet and stuff.
You didn't get a feeling that they're beings, like they have a kind of a soul or a spirit?
No, at one point I kind of thought death's not real, which kind of freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, I have to be a little more careful in the future when I do this. Cause at one point I started I was listening to the Beatles very intensely. And I was just really, death's not real because John Lennon's alive right now because I'm experiencing this music. And yeah, but I didn't have it was all positive though. I didn't think any malicious thoughts with that. I was just getting really inside my head, I guess. But I think now's a perfect time.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just afraid of having another panic attack.
Well, I can't promise you wouldn't have a bad trip, but the important thing is I'll be your guys' chaperone. I'll volunteer to be the chaperone.
Watch us talk to trees.
Well, yeah, kind of. And some people use one, some people don't, but I think it's good to have one, especially if it's your first time, where you basically just kind of have a sober person who just kind of keeps an eye on things.
You and then puts it on YouTube and.
yes, it's good. I'm gonna make my own Fire Tiger behind the music, and it's just gonna be your guys' trip live stream for the entire time. But yeah, they basically, I remember the one time I did it, our roommate at the time, this was back in college, but our roommate at the time, she was the sober person, and I remember I was talking to her. I was like, oh man, you have such fancy dress. That's so neat what you're wearing right now. Why did you get dressed up? And she was like, Ron, I'm in my pajamas. And I was like, but she had these very colorful pajamas. They were these because later she was wearing them again. And she's like, yeah, you were really into these pajamas. You thought these pajamas were just the bee's knees. You thought I was in a gown. You thought I was getting ready to go to a big event with these pajamas. And they're just my pajamas, but I get it. They are bright and colorful, and you were very intrigued. So I was really into these pajamas that she had on. But so let's talk so Magical Brew. We got together, we started bouncing lyrics off of each other. And some of the lines we came up with that night, you all kept, and some of them you kind of tweaked a little bit. And again, you changed it from a song about mushrooms to a song about a magical brew.
Yeah.
Because the mushroom song is going to be on the next album.
Yeah. I think by then I will have shrooms on my pizza that James places without me knowing. So then I will have to sing about the shroom.
Yeah.
And there's a mushroom on the album cover too that I put there.
There you go. Is there? Ah! I found it.
There you go.
I found it. I don't think the viewer can see it.
Shroom trip. Actually.
There we go.
Yeah.
There's the mushroom. I did shrooms during a pandemic because I thought, why not? I didn't have a bad trip. In fact, it was pretty hot. Shrooms, right? We're doing it. We're doing it right now.
Didn't you make an announcement like a week ago that you're starting a band also?
I want to. I really want to. Yeah, I really want to have a band where we just do like covers of music that I like and that the band would presumably like to. And we just do, I mean, I've been doing those rewrites of protest songs that I've been doing by myself. Both I was doing them live, and now I've been doing them, live, quote unquote, during the Zoom shows that we've been doing. Yeah, so awesome. I wouldn't mind having a band to have that with, like just a little goofy cover band or whatever. But I got some emails about it, but you can't really get together with people right now because of the pandemic. So it's more like just something I want to do this when the world is back, because I don't know about you guys. I don't mean to sound cheesy when I say this, but I do mean it sincerely. When all this is over and we go back to performing live again, I am going to treat every single show like it's the last time I will ever be on stage. And I am never, and it does. I could be at a dive shit open mic in Los Angeles to 5 disinterested people who are looking over their shoulder to see if like somebody in the industry walks in, and I just want to try out my new jokes. I don't give a shit. I'm going to treat it like it's my last time ever on stage, and I'm going to try to make the absolute most of it no matter what. Because I'm just like, it hurts not being able to perform live. It's brutal. And it's just I'm never going to take this for granted ever again. I mean, I don't know if I ever did, but if I did,
Have you taken it as an opportunity to work on material though and stuff like that?
Oh, of course, I've been writing, but it's not the same as just, I mean, stand-up's one of those things, like you have to do it on stage. Because it's like, if we were a band, we would be like, the audience is in our band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like the audience would be in our band. So it's like we need to be on stage to really do what we do. And yeah, the Zoom shows are a reasonable substitute, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do have outdoor shows and stuff.
Have you guys done any of that yet?
No, not yet.
No,
we haven't seen our band in person since the pandemic.
So when you guys produced the album, were you guys just producing it yourself? Like everything had been recorded at that point?
Yeah, exactly. This pandemic has helped us in a way to finish the album, because we were stuck at home and we weren't going out to bars or shows or having fun. We had to stay home and do our homework, and that was to finish the album. Fine. Remember we kept telling you, like, we're going to finish the album. You're like, it's not done yet. A year later, it's not done yet. Every time we
Did
saw
I say was I album shaming you? Like, when's the album done?
Everyone was. They're like, it's not done yet.
I was just curious.
No, it's so true though. Like, you can't go out and do an album. You just can't. You can't tour. You can't play shows. You can't do anything. You have to be at home in your cocoon and finish it. And
yeah,
I'm happy that we were forced to do that.
I mean, yeah, that's the one silver lining. The thing that sucks for stand-ups is we can't, our albums have to happen at a live show.
Yeah.
So we can't I was going to do a special this year that just got canned. I mean, there was just no way to do it. I was going to do an album too, like along with the special.
A vinyl record, right?
I was hoping to put it on vinyl, man. This is expensive. Vinyl pressings are very, very expensive. And for my first album, the label was just like, Ron, we just don't have the budget for that. Yeah. I was like, okay, but
it's expensive.
But it sounds great. I mean, it sounds, and the new album sounds great. So you mentioned the pandemic helped you finish it. Do you guys always do like the militant, like record tour?
Well, we've never actually went on an official tour.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't think I'm a touring person. I'm going to be honest. I like to stay home with my dogs and work on new songs. I'd rather put my time and energy to write big songs. And that takes a lot of energy. You can't do that on the road.
So you guys are like the new, you guys are like Steely Dan-esque in that regard.
Is that what they did? They stayed home and
they didn't like performing live very much. So they were just all about the records.
I love performing live, but it takes so much energy away from, that's 10 more songs that I could have written, See how we didn't finish the album because we were out playing shows on the Sunset Strip. We did play a lot of shows.
Right.
Hollywood at the Whiskey, and we play like once every month or once every 2 months, and that takes a lot of energy because you have to promote, prepare yourself, get a camera guy, find out what you're going to wear, rehearse with the band, and that's like a whole month of doing it. Especially as an unsigned band, you have to promote yourself every day to fill that place, and so it's just too much. I mean, I like it when I'm on stage. I'm like, oh, this is great. An hour passes by. It's fantastic. But then I come home and I'm like, I didn't finish the album again. Another month of no album for the world.
Mm-hmm.
It pisses me off kind of. So so I guess I'm the Steely Dan of the band. And the rest are like, I want to go around the world and, go meet chicks. I know my guys on a tour. They're inspired by the women. And I'm just I want to stay home with my dogs.
Hey, I'm a married man and I still love touring. I love being on the road. I love playing the shows.
Kind of different. They just want to go out and meet the girls. But they could like performing too. That could be something they like to do.
I like playing live.
Here's just like, this band of mine. I know what they're really after.
Which is normal. It's a natural human instinct to go meet new people and explore. But yeah.
Well, what do you think about festivals? Would you guys? Maybe you guys are like more of a festival band.
We did play Canada.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they chose us out of like 2,500 bands. I was like, holy crap, 2,500 bands? How the hell did you even find us? I guess we were the last band on their list.
Because, really, if you're doing festivals, you could bring the dogs, presumably.
Yeah. We could tour. I don't know. I'd rather just drink coffee and think about doing shrooms one day.
Oh, you're going to do it, Tiffany. This is like we are going to make this happen. And again, you don't have to use me as a chaperone, but I do volunteer my services. I will be your chaperone if you want me to. And I won't live stream it. Don't worry. But that'll be a good time. Well, what do you want to say about this album? Like, how is it different from other ones? I know the pandemic made the process a little bit different and it was sort of, you were able to make lemonade out of lemons and use it to really finish this thing. But as far as like the song, as far as the music, where did you go this time around?
I think I've been talking too much. Too much coffee. You answer this, Jane.
There's no such thing.
Sometimes the hardest questions are like the softball questions.
Okay. So what was the question? How is this different than our other albums?
Yeah. What do you want to say about this album? Like what are some of the particulars? I enjoyed it. I thought the songs were great. It was very, you guys are, very synth poppy, a lot of hooks, and that's what you guys do, and you do it great.
Thank you. Well, we love to hook people in. We love to fish. And well, there's a song called "So." You
need one more hook analogy. You need one more.
Yeah, "So Many Fishes" is a song on there, so we are hooky. Yeah, we like every album that we had, we just go into it with writing the best songs that we can. We don't think, oh, let's make it 80s or 70s or 60s. We never have that mentality. That's always in the production mullet over here, this mullet man who makes it over the top 80s, in my opinion. Some of the songs are like, wow, that's so 80s or so 70s. That's all in the production, which is James. And as far as the other songs, there's nothing political, nothing too intense. I think our first album, we had a political song called Fancy War Dance. And I remember this one comment, this guy's like, what about the white man? We built everything. And I'm like, I'm just reciting, my lyrics sound like the story of Pocahontas, basically. I was basically copying Pocahontas. So he needs to complain to Disney, not me. Anyway.
He's just looking out for the marginalized, the poor white man.
It was
the poor white man has it so tough.
So that kind of made me feel like, okay, nothing political in the future. Let's just be pop and happy. And I mean, there's so many things you could talk about.
Is it hard for musicians to be political? Like, is it? Because it seems like, I mean, I feel like in the whole world of entertainment now, whether it's music or comedy or whatever, it's like you can find people that are going to like what you do. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying like that means you guys have to make that choice or not make that choice. That's up to you guys as songwriters, and it's not for everybody. But like, looking at it big picture, do you think it's hard for musicians that choose to be outspoken?
It used to be great in the 80s, right? They used to have a lot of anti-war songs, and you'd hear political songs left and right in the great 80s.
Well, in the 60s too, right? I mean, 60s,
80s, maybe the 50s as well. Now it's like they don't want to, if you want to go mainstream, they don't want to market that because maybe they're getting paid by the military industrial complex. Who knows? And, we want to go mainstream. That's our goal. And then we could talk about all the other stuff. So, there's actually a lot of mainstream singers that did that. Just
right.
One of them, he had this music video with some very crazy stuff in the background. I couldn't believe he even said that. But yeah, you could go political once you're big, I think. But to start off, you need to talk about flowers, sunshine, and that bird on your window.
Well, what does going mainstream exactly mean these days? And I'm asking as somebody who, I mean, it seems like these labels are ripping people off, ripping the artist off harder than they ever have. And it seems like the audiences for music is so divided. I don't think there will ever be another Nirvana. I don't think that will ever happen.
It could happen.
You think?
Well, like I said, we had Running Water, and then it disappeared, and then Running Water again. So I think we definitely have it in us. We could repeat history, not just the bad history, but the good history.
But by Nirvana, you mean like a giant change in music, like an overhaul?
Yeah, like a giant change in music where there's this like one act that of course then spawns more acts that really represent a shift in underground music. I mean, Nirvana spawned from like the college indie punk scenes of that time, and then a lot of bands saw a lot of success because of them.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happen. I mean, there will always be pop music that's meant for the radio. And as that becomes more and more obsolete, I don't know what's going to happen there.
He was pop too, by the way. He was.
Oh, he totally was. Yeah. He totally was. When you really strip down his songwriting, it was so Beatles-esque. So Beatles-esque.
It's a good thing. You want to pop. You want to pop out.
Oh, I agree. I love pop music. No, I don't mean, and pop music is such a broad concept. Like when we're talking like Nirvana pop versus, something on the radio or so, top 40. Top 40 is its own thing, but it's all pop music.
Yeah. Popular.
Mm-hmm.
And what we need to do is just make pop music a little cooler again. So just add a little bit of sugar and spice because it is lacking in ingredients. And I think we can go back to that big Nirvana time or Michael Jackson, these big artists that inspired you and were magical. I think we can. I think Lady Gaga was like that. I think she
she totally was.
She was a great example of a meteor coming down and waking us all up and entertaining us like the greats of the past. She has that bigness about her.
Well, and what's interesting is like you look at some of the pop stars right now, and even though like musically a lot of them aren't my personal cup of tea just as a listener, but I recognize there's so much immense talent. I mean, Lady Gaga's extremely talented. I don't see how anyone could say she isn't. Bruno Mars, extremely, extremely talented. I mean, these are just very, very talented people that are also like a big portion entertainer. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think something like that will always exist on the mass level. Yes. Kurt Cobain was not an entertainer. In fact, in some ways, that dude was quite the opposite, really. They were just a band. And, I wonder if anything like that could ever happen again. I lean towards no, because, I mean, you can call it postmodernism or whatever you want, but because of where we're at technologically, where we're at digitally, where we're at culturally and societally, it's more like there is no big piece of the pie to grab. There's just a bunch of different pies out there now, and we can all get a piece.
Yeah, it's too many people are on stage. Like, imagine you go to a show and the whole audience is on the stage with you. Like, where's Ron Pacone? Where is he? That's what it feels like. It feels like there are more artists and people who are trying to be artists than there are people in the audience. Do you ever feel that way? Probably not as a comedian, but
no, you'd be surprised. I mean, it's really tough. Well, you guys have come to a lot of my shows, so I mean, it's for especially here in LA, it's very tough to get comedy audiences in LA. Like, it's just very tough because this is one of the capitals, or at least, it was.
Yeah.
We'll see when this is all over if it still is. But, it's one of the capitals. People have seen it all before. Yeah. And, it's basically LA to comedy is like how Nashville is to music. It's like very tough to like get people out because they've just seen it all. They're a little, I don't want to overgeneralize because some of the biggest music fans in the world live in places like Nashville, and some of the biggest comedy fans in the world live in places like LA. But it's like, we've seen it. We've seen it. Where are you going to take us?
You have to be like a big signed act known worldwide and then come here and then you'll pack the house.
Yeah.
Gain the respect of the world before you impress the people here.
Yeah. I mean, that's the truth. And it's like, that's just kind of the LA way. But yeah, I mean, I feel like music, it's so crazy because it's like there is no music club, quote unquote. Like there's rock clubs and there's punk clubs, and then there's clubs that are just, historically legendary, like the Whiskey, or like even, and then there's the Viper, and they kind of have their own thing. But like music is it's so vast and it's so broad, and like I personally, I don't know how you do it these days as far as like finding people that are going to be into what you're doing. Because the amount of outlets out there, it's endless.
100.
It's endless.
Right. Yes, I know. It gives me anxiety thinking about it. It's like we were looking at just, cruising Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation is a music website. And we're usually number one in the rock category on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a big deal at all. It's not a big deal. It's not like a major website. But, there are just thousands of bands just in our city alone, in our zip code, and then there are thousands of record labels because we were trying to make a record label and we were trying to figure out names. And there is a record label for every name we were thinking about. And then under those record labels, there's hundreds of artists that are signed.
Yeah.
And your mind just explodes. It's like universes, galaxies with tiny little stars, endless supply. There are more people in bands and trying to be a singer than there are people Normal
That's what
people.
it seems like. Yeah.
It seems like there's more people in bands than there are people in the world.
Did you see that? This was a funny meme. You see those memes where like people are masked up in the pandemic, and they have like, if you're masked up, like the chances reduces of you passing COVID. And there's that one at the end where they show two people and they both have masks on. And the one person goes, "Hey, you should listen to my band." And the other person's running away. And it says 0% chance. Have you seen those?
I've seen one where they were playing live in the street.
Oh, that was funny.
And they were running away from that. But that's how it is. Yes.
Do you think people will, this is just a fun little audience live performer question, especially since not only are we both live performers, but we also are based in LA, which I've always said LA is so flaky. Our city bird should just be a croissant. Do you guys think that when this is all over, do you think that the whole, "Hey, I'm going to be at your show," and then not showing up, do you think that's going to become a thing of the past?
Maybe for like a week, they'll be like, "I love you, man." And then they'll be like, "Hey, I'm over it." It's like when you get back into a relationship, you're like, "I'm really going to try this time." And then you're back to like looking like shit.
I remember your guys' big release show. I was flying that day.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I am going to try to be there. But like, I just straight up said, this is when I'm supposed to land. So this is like the earliest I would potentially get there. So I would probably, and I think like we mapped it out where it was like best case scenario, I would make it about 3/4 way through your set. That's like best case scenario. If I walk my fastest, get my bag first, and got like, the quickest taxi or whatever straight to the venue. And I remember the flight ended up being delayed an hour anyway. So it was just like my chance was just blown out of the water. But I always like, whenever I say I'm going to be at a live show, I am there.
Yeah, I know. I know.
If I'm a maybe, there's a reason for that maybe. And it could be I'm in the air traveling through space.
We remember when you showed up to our first show. That was so unreal because we were watching you every day, and everyone,
Graham brought you.
Yeah, Graham brought you. And usually when we have a show, it's really stressful because when we arrive, all your friends come. They're like, "Can I get in free? Put me on the list. It's like I have to be on stage in 5 minutes, and my mom is there, and she's like, "Did you put me on the list?" And I have to deal with all. And then I saw you guys. I'm like, "Oh my god!" So it was just really cool to see you in like all the chaos. Yeah, at first I didn't think it was you. I thought it was me dreaming.
No, it was me. You guys crushed it that night. I remember that. I mean, yeah, you guys, you closed with Energy, which is, one of your guys' hits. And then I remember it was a really big deal for me because I got to go backstage at the Whiskey, which, I mean, that's just a legendary rock club, man. I mean, that's like, I'm like Jim Morrison did Who Knows What back here all these years ago.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's sad to see the world shut down right now. Cause I mean, I mentioned this to you guys off mic, and I guess I'll just bring it up. I was in Hollywood 2 days ago to pick up a book. I ordered a book from Book Soup in West Hollywood, and I was like, I might as well pick it up just so I can have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And feel like a person. They did a thing. You had to call a number, tell them you're outside. Then they would put your book on like a table outside, and then you just grab it. So that's what I did. And it's so weird to see the Sunset Strip just look abandoned. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. I really don't.
Is basically shut down, they say, until 2022. We won't have live shows, unfortunately.
What are they saying? 2022 now? Why?
That's what this one guy said. He's in charge of all. He's a big guy in the touring world. I forgot who it is, but he said probably not till 2022 because they don't want to be responsible for people suing them, and they have to get their insurance in order. Because, people are going to come out left and right saying, "I caught COVID at your show. You didn't take the precautions. You owe me $1 million. That's going to happen.
Oh, God.
Happens all the time. So they're trying to prevent that and see if they could get some insurance policy going, or maybe everyone signs a contract before they step into their place. So
I mean, man, I hope that's not the case. I mean, I'm hoping that by next year we can do this again. I mean, And it might not be right away next year. It might not be till summer or fall of 2021.
Yeah.
But I sincerely hope it's another year of not. I mean this, and I get it. There are many worse things in the world than not being able to tour. I totally understand that, but it's
maybe backyard shows will be a thing.
Well, outdoor general shows. Aren't they doing stuff at the Comedy Store? Like
they were doing some stuff where they were using the deck. But I think there's still questions as to how safe that is. I mean, I just straight up put a Twitter poll just to see. Like, I was like, hey, I just want to ask my audience, like, what are your thoughts on? And it was about 65-35. 65 was like with proper safety precautions, outdoor shows are fine. 35% were saying we need to wait a little longer. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think there is a right or wrong answer, really. You're just making a judgment call, but I don't know. I would like to think we would have some amount of touring normalcy back by 2021.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it will be like an outdoor thing. Like maybe it will be like you need to do like house shows in people's yards or something. I mean, I'd do that over nothing at this point. I mean, I don't know, but
tried house shows?
Huh?
Have you tried like a house show? Or...
I did. I used to do house shows before, like even before this. It was just one of the things I would do occasionally. And they can be a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of like folk musicians and stuff that do them for a living. Because it's a whole circuit.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran started off doing house shows.
And he probably built a huge following that way.
He did that.
Because that's, I mean, for you guys, I mean, you wouldn't really fit in at like something like Folk Alliance, getting back to the whole music is so broad.
I was thinking we could do like acoustic shows.
I would love to see all acoustic.
Thanks.
So let's do a backyard show. I'm going to do a set. I'll close with a few protest tunes. So there's a little bit of music mixed in right away. And then you guys do an acoustic set. We see how it goes.
That'd be great.
Let me know when. Let's make it happen.
Okay. Does anybody have a house in the chat section?
Yeah.
No. Anywhere in Los Angeles.
Anywhere in Los Angeles, we're ready. We're ready to make this happen. So where can people, in the meantime, where can people go to find out more about you and pick up the new album?
FireTigerMusic.com. That's our website. And
was that like a moment of which one's going to plug the website?
Sure. Well, yes, that was. I'm like, our website.
Well, right? No, I feel like I'm talking too much. Like I had all the coffee and I have a speech impediment on top of it.
Why didn't James have any coffee?
Yeah, James.
I had some coffee. I'm coming down from the coffee.
Oh, you're having your crash.
Yeah. He drinks like 12 cups a day.
You got to space it out, man. You got to space it out. That's what my mom does. My mom spaces out. My mom will drink a cup of coffee, caffeinated coffee, before she goes to bed. She has her before bed coffee.
Oh my God.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah. It's nuts.
Yeah.
So she does that to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Coffee just sets her right in general.
Like it could give you so much energy where you do crash at night. I could see that happening. I drink now valerian root tea. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it. I've never had it.
It works so well. I steep
it
3 hours, one tea bag, and it puts you to sleep. So like a baby. I love it.
That's awesome. I've done there's this stress relief tea that I like that I'll occasionally drink right before bed. And that does wonders for me. Like I appreciate that. But I've never tried valerian root tea.
So good. And it really is like Mother Nature's Xanax. I've never had Xanax, but I feel like when I drink it, this is how it's kind of like NyQuil feeling. And bags, I'm sure that would be like one Xanax.
All right. Right on. Guys, thanks so much for doing the show today. I appreciate it very, very much.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Everybody watching / listening later, go to FireTigerMusic.com. Check out their music. You can pick up the new album all the time, which yours truly helped on some of the lyrics on track 3, Magical Brew, which I got to say is my favorite track, but I'm a little bit biased. It's a great album, but I have a special love in my heart for track 3, Magical Brew.
For sure. You like brewing.
I do. I like brewing. I like magic. And I like a guest credit. So I'm like, yeah, that's my jam.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news